So thanks very much. I did not want to miss the opportunity to greet you personally because this is a program that we're very, very proud of, in which I both personally, professionally, and on behalf of the college, am just really, it's a privilege for me to be involved. So thank you. Have a good greet and meeting, and I'll look forward to seeing you again soon. Thanks a lot, Dominic and Rita. Bye-bye.
Thank you. And I will echo the president's sentiments about how important a program this is. I'm Dominic Dellicarpini. I'm the Dean of York College's Center for Community Engagement. My involvement in the program, and Karin's, who has put all this together for us as well, is to include the students in the work we do in our local community. And I know, as you'll hear from Rita, that's a huge priority for her. But it has been a program that has been around for quite some time. And I'm going to introduce Deb Goodland-Kime, who is the current leader of the Community Advisory Board, who can tell you a little bit about that history of YCCOSP that some of you know and some of you may not know. I'll pass it along.
Thank you, Dominic. I, as Dominic indicated, have been involved with the college for a very long time. I'm a graduate of York College back in 1983, and not too long thereafter joined the Collegiate Council and served on the Board of Trustees for 23 years. So I've been around the block, and this is definitely the most unusual time of my time involvement with college. So I thank you for being here. Unfortunately, we scheduled this meeting and it is conflicting with another community organizations meeting this afternoon. So there are a number of folks who serve on the Community Advisory Board who are regretfully not able to join us, but we are going to be recording these sessions so that we can share the information that we as a group come together and share today. We're also going to be sharing some thoughts from our founders and our leaders, and I'll give Karin the go-ahead in a couple of seconds here, but those folks had a shared vision, and that laid the foundation and continues to underpin the vision for the organization going forward. Since 1996, we have graduated over 100 students from the YCCOSP program. The first students actually joined the program in 1989, but it became a more official kind of program in 1994. Those 100+ students impacted not only the lives of themselves and their siblings, but the lives of their families, the lives of the people in the community who they touched through their extraordinary scholarship and activities over the years. And they have, by and large, stayed within our community. About 70% of them are either living or working or both in the York community, and another 10% are living and working within the region in the Harrisburg-Lancaster area. So I think that's a really great track record, and as you'll see in a few minutes, that's one of the reasons that we founded the YCCOSP program back a number of years ago. So Karin, can we begin that PowerPoint presentation so that everybody can see some of those thoughts? And I am not going to read these verbatim. I'm going to just pull out the common themes as we go through them. So you can go to the next slide. So again, the program was founded by the Graham companies, and it had endowment support from the Charles G. Eister Estate and Carolyn Eister Steinhauser, Kinsley Construction, Shipley Energy, Susquehanna Falscraft, and the Wolf Organization. As any of you who've been around the York community know, this is the A-list of folks you want to have supporting a program, and they all came to the forefront and believed very strongly in what we were trying to accomplish. So what we've done is reached out to some of the folks that were involved, or to their organizations if they are no longer with us here in this earth. Don Graham said that The objective of the YCCOSP program was to provide opportunities for Center City York students who had limited means and opportunities and give them the chance to attend York College. And although there are other government programs that may have provided subsidies for those students, little had been done to provide true opportunities for advancement. And as we all believe, education is the key to such opportunity. So next is from Joe Merkel. All of you students know who Joe Merkel is. If you have been in college in the last, how many years was he here? About 30 years. Joe was very integral to the beginning of the program. It was back when Dr. Yazway was a part of the organization, and he indicated that we were aiming to increase the diversity of the student population and provide opportunities that weren't otherwise available to these students. So over the years, your YCCOSP has progressed, advancing activities, experiential learning, and employment opportunities, which is, I think, well represented by the number of students who have stayed within the region. The next comment is from Jack Hay. Jack is with Susquehanna Real Estate, which is a company that was affiliated with Susquehanna Falstaff. And they still work closely with the college. In fact, they are the, I'm not sure if I have the right term, but the developer of the Yorktown Hotel, and they've been working with students across the campus in a project-based learning exercise. Jack related Mr. Appel's desires for the program by saying that access to college education was a challenge to capable and ambitious youth who lacked the resources. So Mr. Appel felt it was important to provide that financial support to give a pathway for success through education, meaningful employment, and also to help the students succeed in their personal lives and play a positive role in the city in the future. Kevin Jackson is an executive VP at the Wolf Organization. He indicated that our local businesses yearn for local talent that has been properly supported, trained, and cultivated. And that YCCOSP is by no means a free ride, right, students? But it's a step toward equalizing educational opportunities, for committed students. Michael Haiti is on the line, and he has a beautiful photo of York at nighttime behind him. And he also pointed out the reason for Louis Appel having been so dedicated to this program and to York College. It gave students from York High the opportunity to pursue a higher education without financial barriers. It did a better job of linking the college to the community, inspired young minds to believe that they could pursue a college education, provided social support to those students, and provided an avenue to complete their degree and stay in York to become future leaders. Finally, to provide mentorship through the linkages of students with York County business leaders. Next is Carolyn Steinhauser, and Carolyn was on the board of trustees of the college for many years, and she was also a very big supporter of York Country Day School and the YCCOSP program. YCCOSP provides these students with support and guidance and connections for success in college and in their future careers and communities. And finally, Mike Kochenauer, who was the head of the Community Advisory Board and recruited me to follow in his footsteps, which are very big footsteps. Nothing is more inspiring to Mike than seeing young people with career aspirations achieve their greatest potential through education, community involvement, and a commitment to excellence, which he felt were the framers of the YCCOSP program as it's constructed today. So as Dr. GS indicated, we're very, very happy to have Rita on board. Rita has been in the community, worked at York High for a time, and has other experience with a similar type program at another college. And she'd like to share with you her vision for the program as we are re-engaging this year. So turning it over to you, Rita.
Thank you, Deb. Thank you, Dominic. I made sure I pressed unmute this time around. I would definitely want to thank everyone for taking the time out to meet and greet me, but most of all, meet and greet our amazing students that you have heard so much about the program thus far, and you're definitely in for a great treat to meet the rest of our students and more about our program. Before I begin, I would definitely want to recognize Student Success Division's administrators that have been definitely a support since I began in November, and that's Dr. Josh Landau and Cindy Crimmins. Would you both like to say anything?
Can I jump in real fast and just, Rita did not pay me to say any of these things. I just want to put that out there. But before I talk very appreciatively about Rita, I want to point out that Deb Nauman really held us together while we were looking for Rita's replacement. And so Deb, thank you. And you've been an incredible part of this program for many years, and we're really glad to have you. The other person that I wanted to point out was Cindy Crimmins. So you saw that Joe Merkel had retired, and into that gap, I was tossed. So I have picked up what Joe has been doing. And in that interim, Cindy Crimmins has stepped in, and she is kind of helping us to support Rita and the YCCOSP program temporarily. I will return. I did want to say that we did a nationwide search for the new director. And I think it's kind of funny that Rita was right next door. We looked all over, and there she was. She's engaged and connected. She has partnerships across the campus. It was great. I ran into her today, and she was having lunch with people in a very different office, traveling around, getting to know everybody, and forging these great relationships. The students will tell you that she is firm, but fair, supportive, but she challenges them. And I think if there was anything that we could say about Rita, it was during the spring when the campus was emptied, she really went out of her way to support students who were struggling in any number of ways. So we really are quite lucky to have her. She has secondary and higher ed background, which has been incredibly important for helping students make the transition. And again, since she was next door, she had this great knowledge of York and of the college, and that gave her such a huge head start. So since this is really our first official big meeting, I just wanted to welcome her and just tell you all that we are so pleased to have her part of the college. We think that we really knocked it out of the park when we were able to get Rita to come in. So that's all.
Thanks, Josh. I definitely didn't pay him at all. But I definitely want to know who said I was firm, but yet fair. We could kind of do that. But I am really excited. Kind of Deb mentioned, I have worked at York High before, William Penn Senior High School, as a school counselor. I have over 18 years in higher education, and I have 17 years in the United States Army Reserves. So I'm kind of all over the place, but it actually keeps me grounded, keeps me focused. This program is very near and dear to my heart. I am a native of New York City. However, York has become my home. So there's a real difference between being a native of somewhere and making somewhere your home. I've been here since 2009, and it has been an amazing experience. We do have an amazing agenda for today and activities that I'm super excited to participate in, but I definitely wanted to share about, one, I wanted to share my screen. And it's really just some information about the actual mission of YCCOSP. We are recording this session in order for those that are unable to participate, know more about the program and how they can actually be more of a value to us. But this is just goals and missions of the program itself. And then, although I came in November, I have really done a lot of homework, especially during our closure. And definitely, I would be remiss if I didn't mention Deb Nauman, who has kept me grounded, definitely kept me grounded and up to speed with the past, the present, and the future. Deb, would you like to say anything?
Yeah, we're just so grateful to have you, Rita. I've been with the program for a long time, and this is exciting to have somebody new with a different vision. And she pretty much hit the ground running as soon as she started with all of her incredible ideas. I think that we are a fantastic team. We get along splendidly. We have a lot of fun together. We thoroughly enjoy our students, and we're really focused on what we can do for them, but we sort of just mesh. We work very well together, and we have the same goals. So Rita, it's been a real pleasure all these months, and we spend almost every single day, including some weekend days, on the phone together. We are just always thinking about YCCOSP and the students and what we can do and how we can help them. So Rita, it's great to have you on board. I'm excited for where we're going to go with this program.
Thanks, Deb. We are an amazing team, just like she mentioned. And we do talk about our vision, and we talked about the vision moving forward. And the vision, there are three kind of top priorities that we look at, where we have seen where we want to grow. The first one is engagement. Tonight, you're going to see past, present, and future, kind of like Back to the Future. And you are going to kind of go back in time to meet our students and see what their experiences are about versus what Rita is about. But engagement, it starts with engagement, it starts with visibility, it starts with service, and how do we give back to our York community. So that's one of the top priorities. I know Dominic and I have sat many a times to talk about that, and we need to give back, we need to get back, we need to do more. Our amazing YCCOSP students at the high school and college level have their branded YCCOSP t-shirts. When we go out in the community, we do have those. And that's just the first step of visibility. We do have many of our community ask, well, what's YCCOSP? So what's YCCOSP? And that's just the beginning of it. The second part is success. Success in and out the classroom. So definitely our students are getting the academic base, but we want the outside academic base. That is part of our actual York College mission, and we are preparing productive and purposeful lives of our students. So whether that's career exploration, whether that's advanced LinkedIn, networking, wellness, all of those things go into one success kind of umbrella. And then the last thing is growth. And this is definitely just one of the areas where we would love the support of our community and of CAB. And it's the growth of this program. This program has amazing room to grow, and we are looking forward to that. It'll be a lot for Deb and I, but we have this. But definitely the growth of our students, the growth of our program, the growth of our participation in the city of York, in York County. So that is what kind of the top priorities are based on our mission, based on our college's mission. And that is it, Dominic.
Thank you, Rita. So as Rita said, the real treat comes now where we get to meet the people that were envisioned by those founders that Deb discussed. What they saw in the future, we see now in the present, both alums, high school students, college students, all of them. They'll have the opportunity to go into breakout rooms now. Karin will whisk you off into a room where you'll get to hear directly from the students who have benefited by this program. But I would be remiss, because we talked a lot about giving back to the community. I will tell you that this group of students gives us so much joy, gives us so much, makes this college so much better. And they, you know, I got to speak at a graduation for YCOS a few years back, and I focused on the word opportunity in this. And that's really what we give the students. What they make of that opportunity is what you'll hear now. So you'll be going off in these breakout rooms, a little bit of homework from the professor. While you're there, what I would like you to do, if you have a pen and paper handy, or you can just do this in your head, I want you to listen for what they tell you. And if you can come back at the end of this, we'll spend 20 minutes or so talking. If you can come back with some lines that you heard, some ideas, some words that you heard from these students and alums that really struck you, that'll drive the end of our conversation. So try to keep track of the words that really mean something to you as you hear them. So with that, I'm going to let us move on to the main event here and hear from these students. Karin, you all set to whisk them off?
Yep, and if anyone has any problems, just come back. You can come back to the main room and I'll help get you sorted out. Thanks, everyone.
Were you going to say something, Edmund?
I mean, you can go ahead. You can go ahead.
No,
Yeah.
Edmund, I think you should. I think you
Yeah,
should say something.
sure.
You're in this room. He's an alum, but he's in this room. So Edmund, tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name's Edmund. I think when I was in your college, my major was biology pre-med. I graduated in 2018 in the spring. I originally got into YCOPS my junior year of high school, and I will say getting into YCOPS was one of the biggest blessings I ever had in my life. I think one thing that I think I see a lot of students doing is they do a lot of like resumes and a lot of networking. And one thing that when I was a student, I used to think, oh man, we're just doing these same things every single year, these resumes and these little things. But then when I actually got out into the workforce, and then when they started looking at my resume, they thought my resume was one of the best things they've seen, and it kind of stood out from everybody else. So that's one thing I'm grateful that YCOPS kept telling us to do them and kept stressing us that we should do these resumes, because it kind of came back and really helped me out when I went to apply for jobs. Now, throughout my years of YCOPS, one thing I'm really blessed that I had the opportunity to do is I had the opportunity to get out into the community and make myself known. With a lot of, sometimes when you go through college, you kind of forget to make those connections with the community leaders and people who are around you. But one thing I'm very happy is that YCOPS kind of fit those into like the little meetings that we had and networking events. So like after I graduated, I'm still keeping in contact with some of the people who helped me and who talked to me during these networking events and kind of steering me into the right direction of like where I want to go. Because like I said, ultimately my main goal is want to go to medical school, and because of YCOPS, I was able to make these connections with a lot of doctors and a lot of people in the medical field that I'm still keeping in contact with, who are helping me out and kind of guiding me to where I need to go. And I think that's it. Oh yeah, one of the biggest things that I'm grateful to YCOPS of is the Groundbunker. I feel like after I graduated college, because of that foundation that I built working on the Groundbunker, I still keep that dedication and everything with me, and I'm still working hard. I'm still lifting weights and still doing all that. But I'm just grateful that I was able to have a free gym membership, because I think now when you actually see how much a gym membership costs, you're like, man, I'm grateful that college was able to give it to me for free, because I didn't have to pay for anything. So that's one thing I'm grateful for, and I think that's all I have to say for right now. So
Yeah, so I wanted to chip in again. So in my last minute or so, one of the biggest things that YCOS also provided us is just a family sort of feel. I knew Edmund for years through YCOS, and also my oldest brother, who was also in YCOS as well. And he was really a big brother to me when I was growing up as well. I remember being in the YCOS room, and we'll talk about different things, whether it was school related or whether it was just sports. By the way, my Miami Heat are going to win today, Edmund. But
No.
but we're really a close-knit family here, and it's also amazing to be able to go to Miss Deb's office or Miss Rita's office when we're either struggling with something or when we just need someone to talk to or get guidance from. It's like one of the biggest things, having a support system when you're in college, because we all know how hard it is, and it's something I really, really value.
I think I want to chip in. I want to chip in as well. One thing that Tazlin said was White House is a family. I really start to notice, like, after you graduate college, the people that you were closely with in college become your best friends, become your lifelong friends. Like you said, one of my best friends, one of my greatest friends when I was in White House is his brother Tanvir, and till this day we still talk. We still kind of banter about who's gonna win in sports. So like it is a family, but you have to make sure that you're always staying connected with the people in your family and always making sure they're okay. Because it kind of becomes hard. It kind of gets a little confusing sometimes when you go through college, and to forget those people. But if you always stay close with each other, like White Cops said, then as you grow and as you're going through class and as you're going through college, those same people who are surrounding you are the ones to help you out when you need them the most. So. Go Celtics.
Anybody else? We have 23 seconds.
I just want to say thank you guys so much for this opportunity, for listening to us and meeting us, but then also giving the YCCOSP students this opportunity to go here.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Make us proud. You really do.
So this is our second room, and this room is our high school level. So we have Omar, we have Michelle, we have Lucas, and if you all can share kind of your stories.
Would you like to go first this time, Omar?
Can you guys hear me all right? Like, is it breaking up?
It's okay. It's better now.
All right, thank you. Well, my name is Omar Castro. I'm a senior at William Penn High School. Well, YCCOSP has changed my life in many ways. First of all, I moved to this country about 4 years ago. So when I moved here, I didn't know like the language. Going to college wasn't like in my goals, friends. And when I got to my freshman year at William Penn, I met Miss Rosario, and she talked to me about YCCOSP. It was like super confusing, like what is this? What does this stands for? And then she explained me what's about a program which offers you a scholarship to go free for college. And I was like, is it a tour? It's just a scam. Because in my country, there's no such thing as scholarships. You gotta pay for your tuition. And I was like surprised and amazed. But in my freshman years, I didn't get in the program because of my English skills, because I wasn't able to communicate, because I didn't speak it at all. Then, of my junior year, I decided to give it a try. I didn't lose my hopes. I know that working hard through my freshman, sophomore, and junior year made getting into this program, and it changed my life in many ways. And I always doubt myself because English is not my first language. So I always thought like, oh, I won't do great at college because I don't know the language. This is not for me. But doing Jumpstarts shows me that I able to, because of Jumpstart, we got to take college classes. And I passed a class with an 8, so it shows me that I'm able to do more things that I even can't believe that I can. And yeah, that's my experience with YCCOSP. Sorry guys, this is breaking up. We're just having some problems with my internet.
A lot of people are. It's okay. 2 people got kicked off in other rooms, so it is okay. Lucas, Michelle, you want to kind of chime in?
Sure. My name is Lucas Matson. I'm a senior at William Penn. This would be my 3rd year in the YCCOSP program. The biggest takeaways, the biggest things I got out of the program so far, at least, is that like it builds a sense of community where you're not only connected to your peers who you meet on a regular basis, either in class or at actual YCCOSP events. It also connects you to people at your college specifically, like some of the professors, the writing tutors, and just people you meet occasionally. It's that networking aspect. And then for me, the next biggest thing is the things like the summer program that and essentially act as supplemental, but it really goes a long way to helping you kind of foster your your education and like your writing skills. Michelle, would you like to talk a little bit?
Hi, I'm Michelle. I'm a junior at William Penn, and this is my second year in YCOSP. And the reason why I chose YCOSP, I first heard about this program when I was in 6th grade, and I heard that it was like a full scholarship, but it was only available at William Penn. So I went to William Penn, and I eventually got in my 9th grade year. I also have an older sister who is also in the program, and it's really helped basically my family to not be in debt, because my sister is going to eventually go to law school, and I want to go into medical field, and I'll have to go to medical school, and that would have to be a lot of money to pay for. And so it's really helped us since, you know, we don't have to pay as much as we have to.
So these 3 individuals, we had the Jumpstart Summer Program, and just to see them, they actually volunteered, even though we kind of suggested, but they actually volunteered, and to just watch them grow in 5 weeks, to watch them grow, especially Omar just started, but I can't really find, I have high schoolers myself, and I really can't find too many high schoolers that can articulate the way they can, volunteer, share their stories so fluidly, like a lot of we have 25 at the high school level. So they're fantastic, just to say the least. But if there's any questions now, we have probably a little bit of time. If there's any questions for our guests, for our students, it's a great time.
I guess I have one question as to, and maybe I missed this on a previous session, I'm sorry, but as far as the students, like, do you, in addition to the education and the networking opportunities outside of your fellow classmates, like, how do you feel like the program brings you all together as well? Like, do you feel like it brings you guys together, a connected goal or vision?
Well, I guess one thing I think I'm answering this correctly. Kind of like there are these community service opportunities that we, as a group, like college students and high school students do. Specifically, the Crispus Attucks Day of Service. We end up serving the Thanksgiving and then the Martin Luther King Day meals. And that really helps kind of bring us together, because we're put into a situation where we've had no prior experience, and we've had to kind of work as a team in our own little groups, kind of to accomplish the task of serving people when many of us don't know how to or anything like that.
What we have also done as well, we have about a minute. What we have done as well is this year, looking forward, is we are trying to connect our high school level and our college level to be mentors. And then our high school level to be mentors to our 8th graders. We had an exercise at Ferguson Elementary, even on a virtual level. And then we have a Generations of Hope program through McKinley. So we're trying to do this as kind of a domino effect. So by the time they get to high school, they know about us. When I kind of came on board, there was clearly a division, but they're all the same foundation. They're all the same hat. So now we have them more working together because you'll see in another room, it's more of a family-oriented concept and how we fall back on each other and how we work together as a group. So it's really not one, it's not a silo. We are really traveling in this future. We are really traveling.
Yeah, it feels a little like Star Trek, doesn't it? Where you just kind of get zipped off somewhere else. But we have a few minutes again while Karin reorganizes us into groups again, and I'd love to hear new thoughts that you heard.
I've heard the word opportunity in both of the sessions that I was involved with, which is really kind of cool that that's part of our name, as part of what we wanted to provide, and that confirmation that that's really happening is very important.
Thank you. Others?
I think I'd like to say one thing that I kept hearing throughout the rooms is family. I felt like they kept saying YCOPS is a family, and one thing that's great about that is when you think of YCOPS as family and people are able to help you as you go through college, it becomes easier as you're going through your years and as you're nearing towards graduation. Because I remember when I was in college and I had YCOPS around me, like when I needed help in any area, somebody was always willing to lend me a book, help me in this certain area, help me study, do anything. So one thing I like about YCOPS is that everybody's a tight-knit family. So
Yeah, I mean, you're a family to the point where you and Taslim are fighting over which team's going to win in the playoffs tonight, which I like to see. Other key phrases, ideas that you heard along the way?
One thing that I'm not sure that any of the students that I've heard from have specifically said it, but it's something that I witness in them, and I've witnessed it in them over the years when I've had an opportunity, especially see students through, is the confidence. You know, the confidence that they build in many cases at a much younger age than what their peers would be doing as a result of the program. And I see that even in hearing them talk in these sessions.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I'll comment because I was just with the high school students, but I'll comment that the one comment that makes, I think, me feel good, and I think most of our community members feel good, is this idea of the students going through the program, but the whole family reaps the benefit, and so everybody grows, everybody's stretched in a very positive way. So one of the students made the comment of, it really relieved my family of the stress of potential debt. And that speaks so many volumes to many generations in our community. And that makes us feel good. So kudos to this program, because I really do think it's phenomenal to hear not just the students speak about it, but I'm sure their families just can't be grateful enough.
Thank you, Natalie. I think that's a really important point.
I mean, I was on the cab for a long time, and you know, our dream and Mr. Appel's dream was certainly always for training all of you to come back to York and be inspiring. And so when I heard about Arnaldo talking about being at York High and inspiring the next generation, that is everything that is like the best testimonial I've heard for a long time, because that's exactly what we want. You know, folks like you inspiring the next generation. So, and doing it here in York. So I'm excited about that.
I guess I just want to jump in and say, I guess kind of as the district executive, the York City School District executive in the room, and a law enforcement professional, that this has been amazing and incredible, and I almost wish there would be some way to package it as a commercial to push it out and let our local York County universe see just what's coming out of York High, just what York City is capable of creating, because each and every one of these kids, like I see all these kids that I've seen go through York High with us and with Miss Rita, and like, you guys actually want to bring me to tears, like the stuff that you guys are doing and what you've become. So kudos to the program. This is amazing.
Thank you, Michael. And I think what it reminds all of us is, given the opportunity, these students can really succeed. And it is what the country is struggling with right now. How do we give opportunity equally, or at least equitably, to everyone? So thanks for those comments, Michael. Appreciate it.
And I'll just add another comment, but I'm excited for more people in the community to hear about this program and the value that it brings to, again, providing equitable opportunities to all. At times when I speak about the program, and I was not a participant, but I have many friends through York College that were, and that's how I met a lot of my friends through college. I just keep thinking, why don't more people in our community, in our business community, know about this? If everybody should be throwing money at this program in some form or fashion. So I'm excited to see what that brings for the future.
Oh, Rita's on a mission. You're going to hear.
Thank you, Natalie.
Yeah.
Thank you, Natalie. We'll be out there. Taz, you want to show your t-shirt? Boom.
Yep. Yep. That is one. I mean, one of the things that Rita and I talked about right at the beginning. It is a hidden gem, and we're tired of being hidden. So thank you for that, Natalie. We ready to go, Karin? Not yet? Okay. Anybody else have comments?
I just want to jump in and just thank the college. So after I graduated, the folks, Jacqueline Martino and all the hands that's passed down have said, hey, we need you back on our selection committee. And I want to thank my employer, the school district, for allowing me time outside of the classroom. So at the time I was a teacher, to go back and take 2 or 3 days to, there was a point where I had that committee as well. And so when we talk about this cycle of, influencing others and empowering others, I just feel like it's come full circle for me. And so being part of the program, not only as alum, but now as part of the selection committee, and seeing a lot of the young faces who I may have had as students, who I've seen as students, who I've seen them grow from middle school all the way to high school, having that as an educator myself, and see these students come to fruition, and see them, see themselves as young adults, and then to see them go on to college, it's priceless. And I look forward to be serving on the selection committee as long as I can. I think it's a great committee, and we have a lot of fun, but we definitely sit down and have a lot of the hard discussions when it comes to our students. And I think that's key when we're handing someone, figuratively, here's X amount of hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? And what are you going to do with this and investing this? So I'm on that committee, and I just want to say that it's great that we have alum on that committee as well.
You will continue to be on that committee.
Right, telling you. This is Jackie, and I've been a YCCOSP cheerleader for many years. I continue to be inspired by all of you. And I tell you what, the program really has some gems in Rita and Deb as we move forward. And I'm glad to continue to be a part of it.
And Jack, you've been more than a cheerleader, right? You've done a lot for the program. We appreciate it.
And I have to leave soon, but thank you all. Proud of all of you. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
All right. Do you want me to get started, Jay, or do you want to get started?
I'll start this one. Hi, everyone. I am Jay Fitch. I am a sophomore sport management major. Here at the college, I am on the women's volleyball team, and then I've been in the YCCOSP program since my freshman year in high school.
And my name is Taslim Hossain. Most people call me Taz. I'm a civil engineering major. I plan to double major with chemistry really soon. I'm in my second year of college. We'll talk about that in a bit. I'll let Jay continue on from here.
To start off, I would like to just kind of say thank you guys for this opportunity. I'm grateful to have this opportunity to be here at this college. Being in the YCCOSP program since my freshman year of high school has really helped me grow as an individual. The summer jump starts, I know it wasn't like the best, like we weren't really excited to go to school in the summer, but it was very beneficial to me and to my peers. It helped me elevate into the next level or grade I was going into by the things that I was learning. But then also having the opportunity to dual enroll, I was able to dual enroll my second semester in high school. I was very involved in high school, so I did have that opportunity my second semester, spring semester considered, to take a college class.
All right, and I think the biggest thing about YCOS specifically is just the opportunities that it provided us. I'm gonna go back to the dual enrollment. When I was a freshman, I applied for YCOS and I got in. But during my freshman interviews, one of the things I asked about was like dual enrollment and if I can start dual enrolling as a junior in high school. And then I was afforded that opportunity. And then I dual enrolled all throughout my junior year and my senior year to the point where when I entered college, I entered with 46 credits. And if you guys don't know what that means I was halfway through my sophomore year as a freshman coming into college. And then now currently in my second year of college, I already have 93 credits under my belt. So I'm currently a senior now, even though I'm only in 2 years in college, which is mind blowing, but it's just the opportunities. And that's something I really want to stress. The opportunities that YCOS provided me is ridiculous. And it's allowing me to do certain things that I never thought I could. A lot of people who are civil engineering majors aren't only can focus on civil engineering, but because of my credits, because of the opportunities, I have a possibility of double major with chemistry, which I don't think has even been done before at York College. And for York High student to be able to say that they're separating themselves from everyone else is something that is really important to me. It's something that I want to serve as a role model for like the future kids to show that it doesn't matter where you come from, you have the ability to do whatever you want.
Piggybacking off of Taz, yes. I want to let our young generation, the people in high school, to know about this opportunity and to understand the benefits, but then also see what it's done for us. So I had both my parents, they went to college and they are educated and very strongly helped me with this decision and making this decision to go here, because and I was young, I didn't know really the benefits and understanding this is a full ride. I really just worry about my books, and having that opportunity to go graduate college debt free. A lot of people in the county that I know and people I play volleyball with, I live on campus and I literally live like 5 minutes away, but they commute and they live further than me. Or having that opportunity to kind of network with people and work on my resumes and work on my LinkedIn, building that to really help build that foundation so it's stronger when I am prepared to graduate for college. I'm just so fortunate and blessed to be in this program and for all the benefits and the opportunities it provided me, but then again, my family, so.
Yeah, and one thing I wanted to make sure we talk about is just how much of a family YCOS really is. Me and Jay, we got in at the same time. We really met through and got to know each other through YCOS. And now as second year college students, like I consider Jay a sister of mine, like honestly. I also have a lot of connections with a lot of the older alums. I know Edmund is someone I met through YCOS and also through my brother. And we were talking about like going back and forth about the NBA playoffs and stuff. But like he, a lot of times when I was a high school student in the YCOS room, would come up to me and give me a lot of advice, whether it was just like different classes or different things you can do to really like make sure you succeed. And that's really important to me because we are a family. We are there for each other. We have a support system, which a lot of us really don't have and wouldn't have had without this program. Miss Deb and Miss Rita are key people to us because a lot of us, whenever we're struggling, we have like a resource, we have an outlet. We can go to their offices and talk about different things, whether it's like struggling in our classes or whether we're thriving in our classes and different opportunities we're pursuing. It's an outlet that a lot of students don't have, and a lot of us wouldn't have had, but it really changed and impacted our lives and made us be able to succeed, something that a lot of people from YCOS just haven't been able to do.
Another thing I'll add is that, yes, as if we're a family, we uplift each other and we hold each other accountable. We're not just gonna let someone struggle. Like if we need help, and then we have the YCOSP room where we do homework, and then we can also socialize a little bit with each other. And that's the time where we do get to see each other a lot, because now we're older and we have different majors, so our classes are different than high school, and so this is like a catch-up time, but to also give support to each other. And I know with finals week, everyone's struggling, stressed, and in the middle of the semester we're stressed with all the workload and everything, but to come together and, you know, talk, chit chat, and just know that we're a family, we're here for each other. So.
All right, we have like 30 seconds left. I wonder if anyone had any questions in this time.
I'm always curious about career goals. Taz, what's your career goal?
So I plan on combining the civil engineering side and the chemistry side to become an environmental engineer. That's something I was really like interested in, really think that I really want to pursue. But my biggest thing as future is just being that role model. That's something I'm really passionate about, because a lot of York High students don't have a role model. So being able to show people that, hey, I've been in your situations, I've seen a lot of the things growing up that you've seen, but I made it out. I've provided this path, and you can do it too if you put the work in and if you look for those opportunities. And YCOSP was one of the biggest opportunities.
Great. Jay?
So I want to work with professional sports teams, but of course, to get my start, maybe with high school or even college, but I really want to build and work on the equity within sports. So with female and male, so that's my focus right now, and like the leadership opportunities.
Thank you both for sharing. I'm sure you'll succeed.
So we are back, and I hope you all enjoyed your sessions with the students and alums as much as I did. We're just going to take another 20 minutes or so to do two things. One, to give Rita a chance to have some wrap up after we talk for a little while. But along the way, I've been hearing from you some of the words that you heard spoken, and I'll ask you to tell me a few more of those first. But then we want to also acknowledge that the Community Advisory Board is a crucial part of this. And I want to acknowledge that Carolyn Steinhauser has joined us as well, who's been one of the giants of YCOSP in lots of ways. But we are really trying to engage the community in ways that you heard these students speak about. And all of you are instrumental in doing that and helping Rita both trumpet this everywhere, but also provide that community mentoring. And we'll talk about that a bit before we let Rita wrap things up. So what did you hear new in this last session? Let's start with that.
Well, I feel like I'm speaking a lot, but in our last session, I think the common theme was how the program helped us polish our skills and give us the tools to become effective at what we've chosen to do with our lives. And I think that was just a recurring theme as we decided to share, was how the college and the program and the folks who worked with us moved us and motivated us and helped us become the people we are, but then also the support afterwards. And having those folks at the college, even after we need, and being points of reference and just points of being grounded, like, hey, I need this, I need that, and still having a resource at the college even after we've graduated.
Thank you, Arnaldo. I think it's such an important point, that giving people this opportunity and a chance to explore widens their horizon in those ways. Others? Inspiring words you heard?
I know it was a lot of time, it was a reoccurring theme, a refreshing and inspiring reoccurring theme over and over again that I think was, at least for me, and it made me grab my pen, that I thought was really summed up by Taz when he said that, he actually said that this has given him an opportunity to kind of want to prove and show the world that it doesn't matter where you come from. And when I heard him say it, I had to write it down, because as I listened to all of the young people talk, all the current students and alumni talk, they're really true examples that it doesn't matter where you come from. Given the opportunity, they're all ready and willing or have already started to kill it. So I think it's amazing.
Thank you. Others?
The one thing I heard that I think is, again, like Michael said, inspiring is this, not only does it give opportunities for the individuals to better themselves, but there's this servanthood, this volunteerism, this piece of, hey, to whom much is given, much is also expected. And also you just want to give back. It's just the nature and the culture of the program that creates that circle, which is continuing to reap benefits for our community and for the individuals as well. So I think that's, so as well as just the professional advances, but also being good citizens, being good humans. So workplaces are filled with people who can technically do things, but being a good human takes some good work. So that starts with YCCOSP. Obviously you guys are doing that work too. So thanks.
Thank you. So one of the things I do at the college, I teach a course in design thinking, and one of the techniques of design thinking is on moments like this where we've heard from other people and we've empathized with their lives, to actually then come up with ideas, right? And to really move forward with those ideas. So I'm going to take just a few minutes, 5 or 6 minutes, for you to both use the chat but also speak out loud. And now I'm talking not to the students or the alums, I'm talking to those of us who are here to support them and clearly care about them, to be able to say things that you think that the community can do, the community advisory board can do. How can we help make the experience of these students even better? What are some of the things that you personally might be able to do? And this is not a commitment. I'm not asking you to sign up for something, although we'd love you to. What I'm asking you to do actually is just to help us understand better what this rich and generous community can do. Okay, so in the chat or out loud or both. And if you want to put it in the chat, you'd rather do that, that's fine. I'll read some of them if you don't mind, but feel free to speak up. What can we do? And the question you ask is, it would be, how might we support these students? And how might we support the students? Or the other question is, what if we did this? Those are the two key design thinking terms. How might we support the students, or what if? Who's got ideas? Because Rita wants them.
I sure do, and I will be reading them. I open my chat box.
Yep. So one's already come up, but more exposure of students to the community so that the community can see the results of the investments that your college has made. Others?
I know at one point, Dominic, you probably were part of these discussions where we were, and Natalie mentioned it as well, which was marketing. And we had actually connected, I think it was with Gavin, advertising. So, some connection points, because once again, I think it goes back to, and it's something I've said multiple times as well, which is that it is a hidden gem. We need to make those connections. We need for the community to understand this program. I've talked about it for many years at WellSpan, of course, and it's like I'm telling, every time I talk about it, it's like it's a new concept, and that shouldn't be. We're right down the street. And we've hired many, many students from YCCOSP. So it's, creating that, once again, it's creating that connection. We've done the internships as well. But I think it's making those stronger connections. But I think one of the keys is the marketing aspect of the program.
Thank you, Kim. A couple other comments in the chat box you might have noticed, helping them make professional connections. That networking you've heard over and over again is so crucial. So Rita will let you know what our students can do and who they are. And if you can connect them with the right people, that would make all the difference. Rita suggesting maybe creating a commercial. We absolutely should do things like that along with Kim from marketing. Look for ways to get the word out about the program. This comes up over and over again. It's amazing, Kim. We're just seeing what you said, right? There's a group of people that are in the community may not know all the rich things that are happening here. How else can we help these students? We'll just take a couple more minutes and then we'll turn it back over to Rita.
Something I know that they're already looking at, but it's that mentorship and sponsorship, right? So it's being able to, provide, individual one-on-one guidance. I know, and what I heard about in this group is that Rita and Deb are great mentors to these folks, but how about individuals out in the industry that can even be stronger mentors throughout their time, at your college or even in high school, someone that can help mentor their career path as they're maybe going through high school and then subsequently going through college. So I think those, like I said, mentorships or sponsorships are also important.
Absolutely. One thing that's been on my mind for years about this program, and that is how do we take this model and actually offer it to more people? The joy of this is offering it to this group of young people. The frustration, and Michael brought this up nicely, I think, is that we know that if we could offer this to more people, then more people would succeed. I honestly have thought even about returning education. So take some students who are already adults working in our community who have not had these advantages and thinking about ways to be able to bring them back in for their college education. So those kind of ideas and how the program can grow and expand to be more accessible to more people. We'll also bring more money in because there are grants and other things to do that. So we'd love to hear that. Other thoughts? All right, well, I know that Rita will welcome your thoughts, and I will have a follow-up to all of you, both thanking you for coming, but also offering you the chance to continuously correspond with Rita and Deb and her team to be able to offer new ideas. I'm going to turn it back over to Rita for some closing words, and then we want to be mindful of your time. So thanks.
Thank you, Dominic, and thank you, Karin, definitely for your tech support, and Deb, both Debs. And thank you all for our guests. I'm definitely looking at the chat. We are recording this in order for to get the feedback. A lot of the information that was shared in just a short period, and even through COVID and a closure, we were able to target a lot of this. A few weeks ago, some of our students, our college level students, did participate in the Day of Action. And that was fantastic. We were at Ferguson Elementary School. We had our campus photographers there, United Way photographers there. And it wasn't for accolades. It was actually that priority, that visibility, that we exist and who we are. I walk around with my YCOSP t-shirt for someone to say, who are you? What does that mean? So that part, a lot of the comments I'm reading on the chat is great. And these are definitely things that we are going to grow. That is our overall vision, is to grow. And we can't do it on our own. We can, I know Deb just mentioned, we want to add new people that have an investment in good humans and in our program. And that was the purpose of this meet and greet, is to meet our students, not me, but really to meet our students. I definitely can't do it alone. I tell our students all the time, it takes a team. Ms. Deb and I are already a team, but it's all our students, near and far. But that has been our biggest accomplishments thus far. And we are grateful and really looking for more, even if they're not on the call and they listen to the video recording, is how can you make an impact and assist us in making an impact in the Community Advisory Board for YCOSP, specifically for YCOSP. So you could get to know even more of our amazing, currently we have 30 college level YCOSP students and 25 high school level YCOSP students. And honestly, there was so many more that wanted to volunteer their time this evening to tell their stories. And their stories are amazing and they're so different and they're so diverse. But really, we want to give that access to all our students. We are now moving forward, Zeb and I, through our recruitment process for the next year of YCOS. And every year we take about 13, 14 students at the high school level. We definitely want to make that grow. But again, we can't do it as it stands right now. But the more we grow and the baby steps and the bigger leaps that we do, we can make it happen. We can definitely make it happen. So all of you that are on the call, whether our alumni, whether our community members, if you know students in the upcoming 10th grade year at William Penn, virtually or not, and you know any rising 11th graders, please share with them to apply for the program. It is very competitive, but we look at the holistic student. We don't look at just grades. We look at what other things you have as a person, so that's huge. The other part, I think Natalie mentioned about the stewardship and how do you give back, and even someone mentioned mentorship. We are working very closely with Generations of Hope and our local elementary schools for that domino effect. So by the time we capture them in the 7th or 8th grade, and we capture them again in high school, by the time they apply for YCOS, they know about us. They know who we are, what we represent, what we stand for, and the family that we are. So these are kind of things that are top priorities for us, COVID or not, closure or not, virtual or not, and we're going to continue to strive through those things. Are there any questions thus far? Before I end, I definitely want to thank our students, because you were all excited, but even if we had to ask at the very 11th hour, you were more than willing to help. And just to have watched you grow. I'm watching the high school level, college, you know, Dominic mentioned earlier, but I'm getting definitely gray hair from this. But, and then I've watched our alumni, except for Arnaldo, but I've watched our alumni grow into the young, amazing professionals that they are. And that's over probably 10 years ago. So it's great to see you all, and I thank you for your time, because again, we can't make this happen without you. Last kind of takeaway, we do have an official Facebook page that we put our events on. We put what's going on with YCOS. So please feel free to like our page. It's York College Community Opportunity Scholarship Program on Facebook. And we also have a official Instagram page. So if you wanted to follow us on social media and see what we're doing and what's up next, please feel free to like our page or join our group, and that would be fantastic. Again, I thank you all for your time. I thank you for your great, amazing comments and responses. That's kind of what the purpose of today was. And if you know anyone else out there that would like to join or review this video, just let us know, and we'll be more than happy to share.
Thanks, everyone, and thanks to Rita and the whole crew, for our students and alums. You all have a good evening. Thanks for giving us all this time tonight. Be safe.
Thank you.